You know, every once in a while, a tech announcement comes along that does more than just launch a new gadget. It completely shifts the conversation for the entire industry. Well, today, we're breaking down one of those moments. Let's get right into it. We're talking about the brand new system from OpenAI, GPT 5.3 Codex. So I want you to picture this. The date is February 5th, 2026. Yeah, a little ways into the future. But that's the day OpenAI decides to unveil what could seriously be a pivotal new tool in the world of AI, and specifically coding. And they are not pulling any punches with this one. Let's just start with OpenAI's own words right from their announcement. They're calling this the most capable agentic coding model to date. That is a huge claim. So what does that actually mean? Let's unpack it. So what is this thing, really? Well, OpenAI has a pretty interesting way of framing it. They want you to think of it as an AI colleague. And that's not just marketing speak. This isn't a tool that just answers a question and then stops. Oh no. It's designed to be an active partner, working alongside you on really complex projects. The key word here, the one you really need to remember, is agentic. And trust me, this is a game changer. An agentic AI doesn't just write a quick snippet of code for you. It can take a really broad goal, go out and research the problem, figure out what tools it needs, and then actually execute a complex, multi-step plan to get it done. It has agency. It thinks for itself. So how does it work? It basically breaks down into three big stages. First, it does the research, right? It gathers all the information it needs. Then, it moves on to using tools. This could be anything from interacting with APIs, running code, or accessing databases. And finally, it pulls everything together for what they call complex execution. Seriously, think of it less like a calculator and more like a super intelligent project manager that can also do all the work. Okay, but with this kind of power, you guessed it, it comes with a whole new world of questions and, frankly, risks. And to their credit, OpenAI is being super transparent about how they're looking at these risks. They're using a framework they call capability thresholds. Now, this table from their own system card is absolutely crucial. Take a look. For biology, it's rated high, which is pretty consistent with their other big models. For AI self-improvement, it's not high, and that's a big sigh of relief for a lot of people. But then look at that last row. Cybersecurity is rated high, but with a really important note, precautionary. This is the very first time OpenAI has ever launched a model with that kind of warning label. And that cybersecurity rating, that is the real story here. So why is it such a massive deal? Well, think about it. An AI that can autonomously research, use tools, and execute complex code could be an unbelievably powerful weapon for finding and exploiting security holes. We could be looking at the start of a whole new kind of arms race in cyberspace. This quote really gets to the heart of the matter. OpenAI is basically telling us, look, our tests don't prove this thing can cause catastrophic cyber harm, but we can't prove that it can't either. And that deep uncertainty is forcing them to treat it as if it's already a high-risk tool, just in case. Which, of course, brings us to the classic dilemma of any powerful new tech. It can be used for amazing good and for terrible evil. So what's the game plan here? How do you manage a tool that could be used by the very people building our digital world and the people trying to tear it all down? I mean, it is the definition of a double-edged sword. On one hand, you can imagine cyber defenders using this AI to find and patch security flaws at a speed we can't even comprehend. The potential there is just immense. But on the other hand, the bad guys, the threat actors, could use that exact same power to automate the discovery of new ways to attack us. So what's the plan? OpenAI is laying out a three-part strategy. First, build what they call a layered safety stack with really strong security measures. Second, they're promising to actively hunt down and disrupt anyone trying to misuse the tool. And third, and this might be the most important part, they plan to empower the cyber defenders, making sure they have access to the exact same powerful tools. The idea is to tip the scales in favor of the good guys, which could set a huge precedent for how we roll out these kinds of technologies in the future. So when you boil it all down, the launch of GPT 5.3 Codex really comes down to this one fundamental tension. We are looking at a technology with just an immense promise to revolutionize how we defend ourselves online. But at the exact same time, it introduces a level of risk that is truly unprecedented. And that leaves us all with this one final critical question to chew on. When a single tool makes both the person building the lock and the person breaking the lock exponentially more powerful, who actually wins in the end? That's the question not just for OpenAI, but for all of us. And we're all going to be watching very closely to see how it unfolds.